Welcome to CUTV News Updates. I'm Kieran Lewis with the latest from around campus. Candidates standing for the union elections have been announced after nominations closed last Thursday. The union aims to get as many students as possible to vote in the elections to ensure they get what they want from the union. Every Cardiff University student is eligible to vote in this year's elections, which begin on Monday the 23rd of February and are open until Friday the 27th. Alex Pringle spoke to Elliot House to find out more about how the elections work and what it's like to be Students' Union President.
So the role of elected officers is to represent every single one of the 28,500 students at Cardiff University. They run the union and make decisions on all areas of student life, speaking to senior university members of staff on university committees. And it's really important that students have a say in the people that are having those discussions to represent their views effectively. So my role is I lead the Students' Union and the elected officer team. So we are a company, a trading company and a charity, and I chair the board of directors of the trading company and chair the board of trustees for the charity. So we are directors of this organisation. I am also a trustee of Cardiff University, so I sit on University Council, which is the most senior decision-making board in the university. All those sorts of committees that come off that then, the lead representative for the 28,500 students at Cardiff, as well as a whole host of things internally, the public face of the union and the university, so all sorts of things involved. It's certainly a varied job. The stuff, every single decision every single significant decision that is made in the university goes by an elected officer. Exam timetables were released 2 weeks earlier than usual this year because of the work of officers. The APLAS was developed, the £3.5 million development that happened over the summer was because of the work of officers. I think it's very unfair to say that work doesn't happen. Similarly, when people say, it's just a popularity contest, well, that decision is in the hands of the voter. If people think it's a popularity contest, then it will become a popularity contest. If students are reading manifestos and voting based on policies, then that means that the voting is informed. We're also trying to move away from gimmicks this year. So, for example, on the ballot paper, you'll only be allowed to use your real name. There won't be slogans. Photos will be used that we take, just to make it a bit more serious.
Every year, Speak Week encourages students to voice their opinions on their experience at Cardiff University and to make suggestions on how they would improve it. Events included Speak Week stalls organised by Information Services about libraries and IT, while a mobile Speak Week stall travelled across the university throughout the week. Feedback is taken to the relevant staff and past feedback has been acted on.
This year, the main focus is what would you change about your university? You can talk to your student reps wherever you find them in the foyer around the university, or get involved on social media, Twitter, #SpeakWeek. We
spoke to Education Officer Rhys Jenkins. Here's what he had to say.
We have the Student Rep Conference on the Thursday. We have college forums throughout the week that your Student Rep chairs will be getting involved in. And we'll have stalls all over campus that you can go along, fill in a postcard and say what you would do if you ran the university.
Last week, British Council Wales, the National Centre for Languages and Routes into Languages Cymru, hosted a free event for pupils in Year 8, 9 and 10, offering them the opportunity to learn about the benefits of continuing their language studies. They were also trained to become pupil language ambassadors back at school. Workshops included language taster sessions, games and competitions led by modern language assistants and student language ambassadors. CUTV News spoke to some of the students who took part.
I've learned that French and languages can help you through life, and definitely with businesses and jobs.
It made me really excited to learn more languages and realise the importance of how learning languages can help you in the future.
A new counter-terrorism act has been proposed by Home Secretary Theresa May. The new bill would place legal requirements on universities to make sure that speeches made by students, staff or guest speakers are vetted and possibly censored to ensure terrorist groups do not influence students. Many people were worried about how this might affect free speech in universities. Among those worried are over 500 professors in the UK who signed an open letter to Theresa May. They state that universities are places of free speech and debate, and that the Act could be seen to diminish free speech rights at universities. We spoke to Elliot House to find out what the Act could mean for students and the union.
There's all sorts of things in the bill that I feel that would be damaging to not just freedom of speech in the traditional sense, but just having a debate around things that are relatively not controversial. You know, universities exist to facilitate debate. Academic freedom is all about exploring different opinions, and it seems that this bill is going to completely restrict that. And thankfully, a motion was passed at our Student Senate last week that will require us as a Students' Union to come up with a response and fight this along with NUS. So there's lots that we're doing to try and stop this from going through. And we've faced issues up until now. You know, there have been stories in the press over the last couple of years of where that balance is kind of struck, and we do sometimes struggle to strike the balance between protecting the welfare and the safety of our students and encouraging free speech. But this new bill would just completely damage that, and I think would go in the completely wrong direction.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
The LGBT Plus Association and MFIS are organising several activities around campus to mark LGBT History Month. The university has displayed a rainbow flag above the main building to raise awareness to students and members of the public. We spoke to Karen Cook, the chairperson of MFIS, the LGBT staff network at Cardiff University, to find out what events are being organised. She explained how staff at MFIS work closely with students and had strong links to the Welsh Government, National Assembly and Stonewall Cymru. She said that it's important to be who you want to be and that it's what the university supports. MFIS will be offering coffee shop drop-ins throughout the month to offer support and discussion for students. They will also be holding a screening of the film Pride in the Hayden Ellis building on the 23rd of February. Last Thursday, the Students' Union held a series of events to promote National Voter Registration Day. CUTV News found out more. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and the Students' Union are running a lot of events to do with registering to vote. It follows students being dropped off the ballot list and electoral register. And today is quite an important day. They've got this big double-decker bus behind me, and there are lots of signs everywhere encouraging people to register to vote. And the Students' Union are really encouraging this. It's easy to do. All you've got to do is go to cardiffstudents.com and follow the information on the website, and you can sign up to vote there. So I'm here with Alex.
Hi.
And he's going to tell us a little more about this. So what exactly is this whole bus thing about, really?
Well, it's National Voter Registration Day today across the whole of the country. And what we're trying to do is get as many people as we can to sign up to vote, because a lot of people, specifically in Cardiff, have been knocked off the ballot list, and some people think they're registered and aren't actually registered due to recent electoral reforms, which doesn't really go so well. So we're trying to get as many people to sign up to vote as possible, and then they can go on and vote and make a difference.
And what specifically is it about the bus, I suppose?
The bus, I suppose it's just more of a visibility thing rather than anything. It's not very subtle, you know, a massive double-decker bus, so people are definitely going to look at it and think, oh, I remember that. We're going to drive around, go down to Talabont, go around maybe up to Heath as well. I'm not exactly sure where we're going. But so we can get to all of the students rather than just the ones at the union.
Have you registered to vote?
I haven't yet, but I filled out the registration form and I'm ready to send it off. It's the first time voting, I'm very excited.
I'm with Student Union President Elliot House, and I suppose the main question is, what's going on today?
Yeah, you're definitely not the first person to ask me that. So today is National Voter Registration Day across the country, and we are trying to get as many students registered to vote in the upcoming general election as possible. Hence this big crazy red bus, trying to create a bit of a buzz on campus around the general election, around voting, and getting people interested in the general election and politics as a whole.
So, have you registered to vote?
Yes, I have.
Why do you think it's important for students to register to vote?
I think it's important for students to vote because then they can actually voice an opinion about changes in public policy, changes in the way government has affected us. So like when students complain about how this government's affected certain party, they can now actually complain because they be like, I've registered to vote, I've taken my part in being a citizen of this country, that sort of thing. It's just being part of the system.
So why is this year's voter registration day particularly important then?
So the way that we register to vote has changed, and as a result of that, latest news figures show that about 25,000 people are falling off the electoral register in Cardiff Centre alone, which is the constituency we're currently in. Considering 24,000 of our students live in this constituency, there's a fair chance that a large proportion of those people are Cardiff University students. For obvious reasons, that isn't good, and we need to get people registered, get them back on the register. We are one of just 3 swing seats in the whole of Wales in Cardiff Central, so the impact that students can have on this general election is huge. But obviously if they don't register by April the 20th, then they won't be able to even have their say.
What other events are being held by the union?
So we have a whole host of things. We started our kind of voter registration drive in September around freshers, but today is the big sort of kick-off. We've got a whole series of events such as Q&As with certain MPs and politicians, talks. We're organising a hustings in April with Welsh Party leaders, all sorts of things going on. You can find out more at cardiffstudents.com.
That's all we have time for this week. CUTV News Update will be back next week with more from around your university and your union. To get in touch, tweet in using the hashtag CUTV News. Thank you for watching.